We're now going to see the same 8 shots, but with the addition of slow motion replay. This will give you a chance to see if the answers you wrote down when watching the real-time only shots were correct. Here we go with shot 1. I'll be right back to you after you see the slow motion. As you can see, the slow motion easily reveals a double tap. Before going on to shot 2, go back and watch every aspect of this shot. If you ruled correctly, what was it that made you rule that way? Did sound help? If you ruled incorrectly, was there anything you could detect after seeing the shot repeatedly that would now make you rule correctly? Things to look for are the aim of the mallet specific to the uprights. Did the striker follow through too much? Does the sound you hear tip you off to this being a double tap? Was the distance the ball traveled or the exit direction helpful at all? These types of questions need to be asked as you go through the various shots. Shot 2 was easily seen as a double tap in slow motion. I think many referees would have faulted this simply because the striker swung so aggressively. By no means am I saying that faults always occur on aggressive shots like this. Notice the exit direction was off to the left and the direction of the mallet swing was to the left. What would have made the ball go to the left? What about the sound or distance the ball traveled? Like shot 1 and the remaining shots you will see in this segment, go back and review every aspect of this shot. The idea is to be able to consistently notice things that would lead to a correct call. Shot 3 was a double tap, quite similar to shot 2 in style and result. Go back and review this, see if you can find out what caused this double tap. Shot 4 was a crush. The hope is you were able to see it from both referee viewpoints in real time. The sound is also helpful here. It had the sound of a crush that you'll learn to identify with experience. I suggest the next time you're at a croquet court, you purposely make crushes like you see in this shot to learn that sound. Before we go to shot 5, I want you to see 3 more shots similar to shots 2 and 3, which were aggressive wicket shots that resulted in double taps. We saw the exit direction being to one side, to the left in these cases, along with the aim of the mallet being to the left. Please let these 3 shots play uninterrupted, and I'll be back to you to talk about them. The reason we've included these 3 extra shots is to show you that very aggressive wicket shots with big follow-throughs and loud crashing noises can be made without making a fault. The first extra shot with the blue ball showed the shot was just barely clean, almost being a double tap. The mallet came ever so close to hitting the ball a second time. I would venture to say that many referees would have faulted this shot for the same reasons they would have faulted shots 2 and 3, big follow-throughs, loud noises, and exit directions being somewhat the same as the aim of the mallet. Notice the exit direction was quite straight out of the wicket, and the ball went very little distance relative to the power used in the swing. Some referees might have concluded that since the ball went such a short distance, the ball must have stalled in the wicket and the mallet double tapped it. This is a great example of how referees can be innocently deceived. Extra shot 2 with the red ball would certainly have been faulted by many referees, especially due to the exit direction being so much to the right, along with the mallet aim being to the right. This too was clean. Again, very deceiving. The sound of this shot was very loud, with the mallet head crashing into the far upright. Extra shot 3 with a yellow ball was a double tap, with the exit direction being in a different direction than the aim of the mallet. Here, yellow went a bit to the left, out of the wicket, with the mallet aim being to the right. As you saw, these 3 shots did not have the benefit of a referee watching from the non-playing side. There was room for error by the sole referee standing near the striker. The only way any referee of any skill level can be sure of their competence is to do peer testing. That is, referee shots performed by a skilled ball striker trying these types of difficult-to-call wicket shots, and have a slow-motion video camera running so that the result of the shot can be verified. Shot 5 is a brush shot which resulted in a double tap. Things are happening so fast that you can't see them in real time, but I think the sound here would have tipped off experienced referees to fault this. Again, you need to practice this shot to learn the sound of a double tap compared to a clean brush shot. Other common faults with brush shots are crushes and beveled edge faults, both of which can be hard to see in real time. Shot 6 is another brush shot which I believe was clean based on the slow motion replay. Some might argue that a crush occurred, but you can see in the non-plane side still image at the beginning of this segment that there was space between the ball and wicket. I think many referees who have studied this type of shot would have called it clean. The sound sounded clean to my ears. You can see these are very difficult to call because the action is happening so quickly. Shot 7 is a Pirie Poke developed by some croquet players in Australia. It's a shot which requires the referee to get low to the ground to have any chance of ruling correctly. In this shot, the slow motion reveals no fault. However, some might claim the striking face is sliding on the ball, which it is. There is currently nothing in the rules that disallow this. It's occurring in just a few thousandths of a second, and it certainly can't be seen in real time. Common faults in Pirie Pokes are double taps and beveled edge faults. As an aside, these shots can damage the lawn with the mallet creating a divot. In USCA 6-wicket croquet, there's no fault for damaging the court, but there is in association croquet and golf croquet. Generally, the more tilted the back of the mallet head is, the more likely a double tap will occur. Shot 8 is a plunger shot, or some might call it a drop shot. The slow motion reveals it was clean. It's similar in effect to a Pirie Poke, except there is less sliding. Common faults with this shot are double taps and beveled edge faults. To wrap up this section, which included 11 shots in total, you can see that refereeing can be very challenging, especially in the absence of a slow-motion video camera to confirm the shot's outcome. I urge everyone to work together to gain experience and knowledge to become a good referee, especially with regard to these difficult-to-call shots.